What's up, folks? This your boy Zach Hankins here, coming to you with now my Eastern Confrence bracket of the playoff preview. This is the Afterthought. And first, I want to say shouts out to all my subscribers. I want to thank each and every last one of you for following me and subscribing. So, after seeing my Western Conference playoff preview, now this is the Eastern Conference. And just to let you know, too, that this Eastern Conference, from the way it's looking, I don't see a single sweep on any one of these games. This is going to be a very long, very close Eastern Conference. Because I know a lot of people say that the West is still on top. The West is still the stronger conference. But if you look at the East, with a lot of players that's been developing from each of these teams that's in the playoffs, it's getting much better. Now, I admit I would have loved to see Kevin Durant go to the Washington Wizards. That would have made this Eastern Conference that much more exciting to watch and that much more afford to look forward to. But Kevin Durant made his decision. He wanted to be a Warrior. But I mean, this Eastern Conference has a lot of good superstars that we're seeing for the first time just really getting established. There's a lot of guys that literally have a breakout season. So to me, like I said, it's going to be very competitive. I definitely liking the matchups. First off, we got the defending champion Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Indiana Pacers. And then for most people remember the Miami Heat days, LeBron and Paul George were rivals. They were originally, arch nemesis in those years. The days when LeBron James was winning two back-to-back NBA championships with Dwayne Wade and Bosh. Paul George was standing his way in the Eastern Conference. And for the Indiana Pacers, they recently acquired Lance Stevenson again. That brings back memories because Stevenson and George definitely have chemistry. They are the last of the team they had back then. But see, the only advantage I give the Cavaliers over this Pacers team is Pacers haven't really been that. They haven't been really that flourished. Okay, they haven't been really playing that well as far as keeping leads. But when it comes to the Cavaliers, I don't believe the hype. Yeah, Cavaliers have been losing some games, but they haven't been playing that hard. This is game one. This is the playoffs. This is when Cleveland comes to show up. Still, I don't see the Cleveland Cavaliers sweeping the Indiana Pacers. I think the Pacers will get at least one game in their stadium, if not two. Because we remember Paul George is a superstar at the end of the day. This man can keep you in the game. You know what I'm saying? He's proven to carry teams. Okay, like I said, he models a lot from LeBron James. And like I said, these two have had good battles in the past. Like, they've had a great rivalry. It just continues in a different way. And yeah, Cleveland is not starting off the first seed, but it doesn't matter with this team. The Cavaliers, like I said, they still got LeBron. They still got Kevin Love. They got Kyrie Irving. And they, like I said, a lot of their pieces are healthy. They really don't have too many injuries going into the series. But Paul George has Monte Ellis. Jeff Teague was actually a decent point guard for them. They needed Jeff Teague. He is definitely an upgrade from George Hill. I'm not taking nothing from George Hill, but Jeff Teague from his Atlanta Hawks days, you know what I'm saying? Like, before he left, he was an all-star. Jeff Teague is actually a good ball handler. They needed him over there. Him and Paul George have actually worked well together. And yeah, I would love to see Paul George and Jeff Teague play in the future, but it's not a guarantee Paul George is going to re-sign with Indiana. Maybe he'll re-sign if Indiana can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we'll see how far they go. But in this first round matchup between Cleveland and Indiana, I gotta go with Cleveland in 5 games. I'm gonna give Indiana at least one game out this series, unless I see otherwise. No, I said they may surprise you and they may get 2 games in. I don't know if they're gonna be pushing a game 7. Game 7 is just I can't put all that on the Indiana Pacers because to me, like I said, like just like Cleveland, Indiana has really not been looking too good the last 15 games. Okay, they've gotten their break. They barely got the 7th seed now, battling up against the likes of Miami, and even then, Chicago basically beat out the Heat for that 8th seed. But because the Cleveland basically has most of their returning starters from last year that won a championship, and they just re-signed Dante Jones to help them win the finals, I gotta put Cleveland over Indiana, but it's gonna definitely be a great battle. Paul George and LeBron James is definitely gonna put on a show. Next up, we got the Washington Wizards versus the Atlanta Hawks. Now, both of these teams are basically interesting right now. This is the battle of the 4th and 5th seeds. Like I said, this is definitely an interesting matchup. Both teams can really start getting going. And for Atlanta, them acquiring Dwight Howard in the summertime was the best acquisition they could have did. Okay, everybody remember Al Horford took that big contract in Boston, which actually helped the Celtics out a lot because Al Horford is the center they was needing. But Dwight Howard is back on the Eastern Conference. Dwight Howard is back where he actually belongs. To me, Dwight Howard should have never left the Eastern Conference in the first place. Dwight Howard should either still be Orlando Magic or he should have went to another team. But Dwight Howard is back in his hometown, so this is where, you know what I'm saying, this is where he's comfortable in. And he's worked out well. And then Dennis Schroeder, to me, them replacing him with Jeff Teague actually wasn't a bad call neither. Okay, I guess Jeff Teague, they didn't know, so they wanted Dennis Schroeder, I guess, because Coach Budenholzer, for those that don't know, Budenholzer was behind Greg Popovich all those many years. They was winning championships together. Budenholzer has at least 3 championship titles along with Greg Popovich. So him getting international players, he's just following the same playbook as his mentor. Okay, Dennis Schroeder is from Germany, just like Tony Parker is from France. So that's the whole format that this Atlanta Hawks team wants, thanks to Budenholzer. He likes international players, and that's what Schroeder represents, that tradition. And like I said, Schroeder's not bad. I mean, he's not exactly the ball handler skills that Jeff Teague had, because Jeff Teague was a little bit more flashier. But Dennis Schroeder can definitely come through for you when need be. He knows how to assist the ball. He knows how to get to the rim. Dennis Schroeder is actually a quality guard. He may not be an all-star like that, but he's at least decent for you. And Paul Millsap, we know how he can get down. And remember, I told y'all in my other video when Cleveland Cavaliers traded Kyle Korver, a lot of y'all were scared and tripping over Cleveland getting Kyle Korver. The Hawks did not care about losing Kyle Korver because now they got Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. has immediately fit in with this roster. Tim Hardaway Jr. is already averaging 19 to 20 points that he didn't get when he was with the Knicks, and he didn't get with any other team. Tim Hardaway Jr. is automatically have become a great replacement for Kyle Korver. That's why Atlanta wasn't tripping. Atlanta wanted a younger roster anyway. I told y'all, Kyle Korver is 36 years old. Kyle Korver has had his best years behind him already. And yeah, Kyle Korver worked out well with this Hawks team, but Atlanta wanted to go in a different direction. Budenholzer wanted to get a different team in there. He wanted to get a younger squad. And even then, Jeff Teague was in the league longer than Schroeder anyway. Jeff Teague was playing in the league since 2010, 2011. So this is why Budenholzer needed a change. Okay, because that lineup he felt was getting older and it wasn't working out with Kyle Korver and Jeff Teague. But still, Tim Hardaway Jr. was a good guard replacement. He's younger than Korver. He's going to be around the league a lot longer. Korver, I give him maybe 1 or 2 more years left. So they didn't care about losing Kyle Korver or trading for him. But if you look at this Washington Wizards team, Scott Brooks was the best thing they could have happened for them. Okay, he was the best coach they needed. Scott Brooks has already made Bradley Beal and John Wall look like basically, you know what I'm saying, future champions right now. Okay, I'm not going to put a championship on the Washington Wizards just yet, but they're looking like they could be championship contenders. This is where Kevin Durant should have went. Kevin Durant going to the Washington Wizards makes all perfect sense. You put Kevin Durant with Bradley Beal and John Wall, that would have been a Golden State Warrior type lineup. Not to forget to mention Gortat right now. Marcin Gortat is a great rebounder, okay? He's a veteran. He's been around this league long, but he can rebound you and he can give you some good crash boards. Okay, Marcin Gortat was good addition for them. They gave up Nene. They didn't want to keep Nene, but they kept Gortat. In this series, I got to give the edge to Washington right now. I say Washington's going to win this in Game 7. This is going to definitely be a 7-game series. Because I see both Atlanta and Washington, like I say, both can get going. They both defensively efficient. Offensively, they could both each put up a lot of points on the boards. Okay, John Wall, we know how good of a player he is. John Wall is established. Him and Bradley Beal, they got a good backcourt right now. And they trying to prove that they have the superstars, you know what I'm saying, to where they really don't need a Kevin Durant. Bradley Beal was against Kevin Durant, come over there anyway. You say, why do you need Kevin Durant? We got a good team anyway. He said that last year. Now you see where Washington is now. To be honest, both of these teams can actually get to the finals out of either one of these two teams. I'm not going to lie. These two teams can basically upset anything that's going to be facing in the next round. Only time will tell now, but this is definitely, I say, if anything, Washington could beat them in 6 games, but I don't see Atlanta going down. Not with Dwight Howard. See, Dwight Howard makes that much of a difference. So, yeah, I say 7-game series. I'm going to give Washington ended in 7. Unless, like I say, Atlanta can just easily win this, but neither team has an advantage over the other one. And that's what makes this matchup so special right now. So I got Washington 7 games. Now, we go down to 3 and 6. Okay. Toronto Raptors versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I must give Jason Kidd a lot of his just due, a lot of his credit. He has done an excellent job developing this Milwaukee Bucks team over the past 2-3 years. Greek the Freak to me is just what you want in a shooting guard. Okay, he represents the prototype of a decent, a legit basketball player. His size, you know what I'm saying, his power, his strength, the way he can get into the rim, the way he can regulate, the way he could take control of games. Like I said, this is a dangerous Milwaukee Bucks team. Getting Matthew Dellavedova makes sense. Okay, Dellavedova has came through for them as a perimeter point guard. All right, he's back to a starting role. Now remember, Matthew Dellavedova got a chance to start for the Cleveland Cavaliers the year Kyrie Irving went down in Game 1. He didn't do too bad. It's just the Warriors were just overwhelming. Now he gets a chance to fully start this season. Like I say, he's turned out well. And then the Bucks do got size right now. Greg Monroe is a decent center for them. Jabari Parker. Okay, this, like I said, this Bucks team once again is dangerous. But now you have the Toronto Raptors. Now I believe Kyle Lowry should be back in the lineup. He's not all that hurt. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's not able to really play that much minutes, Serge Ibaka was the best pickup for them. To me, the Toronto Raptors won trade deadline. They made all the right acquisitions. Them getting Serge Ibaka is what they need, because Serge Ibaka can defend well. He can give you a three-point shot, but he's had more experience now. He's a true veteran that this Raptors team needs, alongside DeMar DeRozan. They have DeMar Carroll, that's been pretty good for them. And they have Vera Jones in the center. They have a legit 7-footer. Said this is going to be an exciting series. This is another series where I can see going down to a 7-game series potentially. I got Milwaukee winning this in 6 games, but it may be like Toronto might push this to a game 7. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta and Washington, neither team has an advantage over the other one right now. It's going to be a very close matchup. Okay, but definitely Ibaka is going to definitely be a key factor in this matchup going against Milwaukee. But Milwaukee does have a lot of playmakers. Okay, Jason Kidd has a lot of guys that you don't know about that's questionable at this point. Okay, you don't know what type of Bucks team we're going to get between this Raptors team. But for the Toronto Raptors, they've been there before already. They know what it feels like to play against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there's any team that can actually beat Cleveland right now, that is this Toronto Raptors team. But because, you know what I'm saying, them getting Serge Ibaka, this is going to help Toronto out. But I got to give it to Milwaukee. Only because of Kyle Lowry's health right now. Okay, that's the only problem with Toronto is just the point guard position. Because, yeah, DeMar DeRozan is going to do his thing. He's going to keep them in the gun. And Serge Ibaka is going to come through for you. But it's just the point guard position, I don't know. Okay, Kyle Lowry's had to battle injuries. Hopefully, they're all good right now. But, like I said, it's just hard for me. Like I said, I just got a feeling the Bucks might upset Toronto. Because, like I said, the Bucks are dangerous. Greek the Freak, like I said, he's an all-star this year. You know what I'm saying? He's having a breakout season. And like I said, it's tough right now. And then Jason Kidd, he's won a championship as a player. That's another thing. Jason Kidd's coaching is not bad at all. Okay, he's done a good job developing this team. So this is going to go to a 7-game series. This is going down to either team, but I got to go with the Bucks with the upset because I don't feel Toronto is quite ready yet. Okay, they still got to, maybe they're missing one more player, but we'll see. Now, Toronto might prove me wrong, but I'm going with Milwaukee this series. And now, to the number 1 versus the AC. This is actually going to be my favorite matchup. And I'm going to tell you why this is my favorite matchup. Because for those that remember the Boston Celtics when they had John Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Garnett. And they played the Chicago Bulls with a young Derrick Rose that was in his sophomore year with Ben Gordon, Joakim Noah, John Salmons, Kurt Heinrich, okay, Tyrese Thomas. That series went to a game 7. It was an overtime in every game of that series. Okay, the Bulls and the Boston Celtics have a rivalry, okay, that dates back to the Larry Bird, Michael Jordan days. And what's so crazy about this game, like I said, 9 years ago, you had Rajon Rondo in his Boston Celtic uniform. Okay, they were the defending championship team. They had just beaten the Lakers, and they was coming back to defend their championship title as the first seed, of course. But they were playing the Chicago Bulls. Now it's 2017, 9 years later. Now Rajon Rondo is in the red uniform going against his previous team. Rajon Rondo, to me, is going to have a great game. You know what I'm saying? He's back in the Boston Garden. He gets off in this stadium. He's back playing against his previous team. And he previously played for Brad Stevens. Matter of fact, Rajon Rondo was a starting point guard when Brad Stevens first took the job in 2013, 2014. But this Bulls team, they have Jimmy Butler. They have Dwayne Wade, who's a veteran, okay? Dwayne Wade is a 2-time NBA champion. Okay, he knows how to play against the Boston Celtics. Like I said, it's a rivalry matchup. Nikolai Mirotic is actually pretty good for you coming off the bench. He gives them efficiency. He gives them some more depth. Yeah, you don't got Taj Gibson, you don't got Doug McDermott, but Carl Payne is not bad at all. Okay, I mean Jeremy Grant has actually gotten better. And I know the Boston Celtics, to me, everybody say they have the advantage, but I just can't see this Bulls team getting swept by the Boston Celtics. They're not going to sweep them. This is going to be another close series. Because of the rivalry, I'm going to give it a 7-game series. I'm going to give the Chicago Bulls that much respect because Jimmy Butler, we know, can get off. He's one of the best, like behind Kawhi Leonard, next to LeBron James, and next to Draymond Green. He's like the 4th best two-way player. Jimmy Butler can literally do it all for you. And him getting Dwayne Wade was the veteran he needed right now. And like I said, Rajon Rondo, we know what he could do. Rondo is actually not a bad of a guard. He's a great assist guy. So this is going to definitely be a battle, and it's going to be interesting to see what Isaiah Thomas does as a first seed right now. He's going into the Celtics are actually right where they want to be. They want to be the first seed so they can get respect because Isaiah Thomas feels the Celtics still are not respected enough. But they have Al Horford, who's actually a good addition for them. You know what I'm saying? Signing Al Horford to that contract was just what they needed. Okay, you have Amir Johnson, who's a good defender. You have Jay Crowder, who can actually give you a big shot when you need to. Okay, the Boston Celtics have depth; they have size right now. Okay, so like I said, it's definitely. I say Chicago's definitely going to win 2 games in this series, if not 3. Like I said, it might get pushed to a game 7. I might be wrong, but like I said, I just don't see Dwayne Wade allowing this team to get swept. I just don't see it happening. Not to the Celtics. Yeah, the Celtics are first seed; they got defense, but like I told you before, like the Boston Celtics are maybe missing that one guy. And we have to see how Jaylen Brown does in this series against Jimmy Butler, okay? Jaylen Brown is definitely a good pickup for them as a draft pick, but we need to see how he does playing against an experienced Bulls team with a guard like somebody like Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler can rotate at 2 or 3. That's what's so good about Jimmy Butler right now. You're going to see a lot of that now in this matchup. Jimmy Butler's going to be rotating positions. Yeah, Rondo's going to be occupied with Isaiah Thomas, and that's going to be interesting too because Isaiah Thomas is a much taller guard, but yeah, Rajon Rondo's a much taller guard, but Isaiah Thomas does not care. He's a David amongst Goliaths. But I got Boston in 7 games, but Chicago might prove us wrong. Okay, if anything, Dwayne Wade, they might can pull off the upset, but I just don't see Boston losing. You know what I'm saying? The first round after becoming the first seed and playing the way they are. But still, I got Boston in 7 games. This is the Afterthought here. If you like this button, hit the subscribe. You know, say NBA playoffs is this weekend, so we're gonna see how it turns out. I'll do the second round once the first round gets finished. Y'all stay blessed. Stay tuned. I'll see you soon.